guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode. This week we're going to be going over what dissociative identity disorder is, which is also known as D.I.D, and why it is important and we should understand it. Okay, so most of you have probably seen the film Split or heard of D.I.D because of the film Split. And that is a production that is definitely for the sake of drama. But unfortunately, a lot of people misunderstand D.I.D because of this film, when everything about it is just for the exaggeration, and it's honestly really unrealistic. So in the film, we see the main character play a lot of different identities, and the first one we see from the very beginning is the role of a kidnapper.
Hey, pardon me, sir, I think you have the wrong car.
Here's another scene of him playing the role of a woman who is also still aware of the kidnapping.
You've always been protected. You've never truly suffered. And that's why we chose you. You've always been asleep.
And there is many more, but the most important one that people went crazy over was the role the Beast.
Can't you see I am not human? Kevin is a man. I am much more.
So first, obviously, it's not possible to survive bullet wounds like that. And it's not possible for your muscles to grow in seconds either. And how does he tear apart that metal? No, it can't happen. And so people can see that that's unrealistic, and some might actually wrap their head around and think, oh my gosh, with someone who really thinks that they are another person, a beast, can do that, they manipulate their body to do that. No. It's not scientifically possible. But here's the other problem. People then think, okay, overall, this disorder just doesn't exist. No, that's not true either. It does exist. They're not just playing these characters. They're not just changing who they are for a day because they feel like it. This disorder can just take over, and it's a real issue. Like, people actually suffer with this. D.I.D is real, and people that suffer with this do have other identities, and their identities do have other roles, and they do have other skills. Now, that doesn't mean a beast, because no, that doesn't exist. But it might be the person that was born from birth, which is called the host. The host might be right-handed, and then they develop an identity, and that identity might be left-handed. But as the host, they can't write left-handed for their life. But as their other identity, they can, which is really crazy. But it's nothing that's malicious. I'm going to give you guys an example of a patient I used to have, and she does have D.I.D. And D.I.D is a coping mechanism. So in her case, she has it because she was born into a coven family. And at a very young age, one of the things that they did is they would not only abuse her, but they would put her into a coffin and keep her there. And she doesn't know when she would get out. She doesn't know how long she'd be there. And she wouldn't get the right nutrition. She would even have to watch things that young people, old people, whatever people would do to family, friends, just very malicious and very disturbing and terrible. It was frankly just terrible. And for the longest time, she didn't know she had D.I.D. But that's because while she was in the coffin, it was another identity taking over for her. And that's because her brain and body mechanisms developed it so that she wouldn't have to live through it. Hard to wrap your brain around that they're not really present all the time because it might be another identity of theirs. And that's why a lot of the time the main host suffers from blackouts, and that means like they don't really know what happened to them for a certain amount of time. For that amount of time, they might have met someone new, they might have done something that could have been dangerous, and something could have happened, but the host doesn't know. And so it's really confusing when they might get a call from someone they don't know, or when they see pictures on their phone that they don't remember. So that's really hard to understand, especially when you don't know that you have it. You know, just honestly put your place in their shoes and have to suffer through all these blackouts and not know what happened to you. And it's also really scary because there's incidents where an identity is so protective, they don't want their host to know. And that means they take the risk of trying to kill the host just so they don't have to know. And that's so hard to survive that also, because you look suicidal and you don't know or remember or know why all this is happening to you. You don't remember trying to cut yourself. It's so unsettling, and then you just feel crazy, but they just don't know that they have it yet. And that's where the most aggression comes in. I'm just going to emphasize this another time, that the beast, it doesn't exist inside these people. Like, they're not going to be aggressive. That's not their instinct. If anything, they're aggressive with themselves, for that example. But I just can't also emphasize enough how important it is if you know someone, or like you know of people that need to go to therapy or do go to therapy, because that is such an important process of their recovery. And when I say recovery, I don't mean that there's going to be a cure, because there isn't a cure. There's no medication that can help. It's honestly just a day-to-day basis living with it. But once you're in therapy and identities get triggered and they come out and you find out why they've been abused and stuff, then you know the truth and you can help your patient. And it's going to become easier for them to stay the host. It's going to become easier for them to cope with it without their identity coming out. Therapy is going to help them find out who they really are. Therapy is going to help them find ways that they can talk to other people who are going through this, that they can find ways that helps relieve them stress, whether it be yoga, whether it be exercise, whether it be, I don't know, there's so many examples, but therapy is going to be their medicine. If you know someone who does have dissociative identity disorder, you know that they live a normal life. You know that it's just a part of who they are. They're not bad people. What's bad is the way the film Split portrays them. And it's bad that if people think that this isn't real, because it is. At the end of the day, it's just really important to accept everyone, because you don't know what they're going through and you don't know what they've been through. But you guys, if you guys have any more questions, please comment. I'm going to give some links about more research, more studies, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. See you guys next time.